All right. Um, so I'm going to put up the first few questions. See how this goes. Okay. So the first one, graphene, which is used in the manufacture of integrated circuits, is so thin that a sheet weighing 1 ounce can cover up to 7 football fields. If a football field has an area of approximately 1 1/3 acres, then how many acres would 48 ounces of graphene cover? Okay, so let me see what you wrote. Um, 1/7 equals, okay, wait, so I'm gonna write out the facts at the top. 1 ounce equals 7 football fields, and 1 football field equals 1/3 acres. So 7 football fields equals 1/1/3 times 7. So this over here is equal to 4/3. 7 times 4/3 is going to be 28/3. And that also equals, so this all equals 1 ounce of graphene.
Okay.
Um, about how many acres would 48 ounces of graphene cover? So I'm going to multiply everything over here on this line by 48. So 48 ounces graphene equals 28 over 3 times 48 acres. And then I'm going to simplify. So 28 divided by 3 times 48, well, I can divide the 48 by 3 because this 48 is just a fraction as well. So I can simplify this 3 and this 48 into 16 and 1. And then my final answer is going to be equal to 28 times 16. So 28 times 16 is going to be the final calculation. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 2 is 16, plus 0 here, 2, 8. And then that equals 8, 4 over there, 448. Um, about, the question uses the word about, so we can round this to C.
Okay. Wait, can you
Okay,
go over this one again? I didn't really understand.
okay. Was there a problem with a specific step? Because this is being recorded, so I can, you can watch it
Oh,
again
okay.
later.
It's just like when you made the equation, like 48 ounces equals 28 over 3.
Okay. Um, so these fats over here are all with 1 ounce of
Uh-huh.
graphene. But the question is asking for how many ounces, what 48 ounces of graphene would cover. So since this equation over here says 1 ounce equals 7 football fields, which equals 28 over 3 acres, I multiplied this 1 ounce by 48, and then I
Yeah.
multiplied, instead of worrying about 7 football fields over here, um, well, I'm not worrying about this factor over here because I can multiply the 7 football fields by 48 as well,
Yeah.
but I just multiplied this 28 over 3 acres by 48.
Oh, wait, you multiplied it by 48? I didn't
Yeah.
see this.
So the 1 ounce gets multiplied by 48, and we get 48 ounces over here, and the 28 over 3 acres
This.
gets multiplied by 48 down over here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get it, yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm going to erase everything, and then we're going to move on to the next.
Okay.
Okay. The sum of three numbers is 855. One of the numbers x is 50% more than the sum of the other two numbers. What is the value of x? Okay, so let's say we have x, y, and z. The sum of them equals 855. One of the numbers x is 50% more than the sum of the other two numbers. So 50% more. So we can express that as 1.5 times y plus z.
Wait, why you do 1.5?
So this is 50% more, right?
Wait,
So
so y plus z is 50% more?
no, x is
Yeah.
1.5 times y plus z. So whatever y plus z is, that's just the sum of the other two numbers, right? And to express 50% more than that, I'm not going to take just 50% of that. I'm going to take the original amount, y plus z, and add 50% to it. So this 1.5 represents 150%, which
Yeah.
represents the original plus 50% more.
Okay.
So x equals 1.5 times y plus z. What is the value of x? Well, I can try to put this equation, the second equation, back into the first one
Yeah.
and replace that x. Even though we're trying to solve for x, it might give us some useful information. So I'm going to write 1.5 times y plus z plus y plus z equals 855. I'm going to distribute that 1.5 to write 1.5 times y plus 1.5 times z plus y plus z. And then I'm going to simplify that into, well, this is one y and one z. So I can rewrite this as 2.5y plus 2.5z equals 855. And then I can simplify this into 2.5 times y plus z equals 855. And then I can divide both sides by 2.5. And a quick question, is this a calculator question? Hello, Mickey? Mickey, are you there? Okay. Okay. Do you remember where I stopped before you disconnected?
Not really. Wait, can we start again?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna leave the work on the board, and then we're gonna go with each line.
Okay.
Okay. So the first statement, the sum of three numbers is 855.
Mm-hmm.
So I expressed that as x plus y plus z equals 855.
Yeah.
Just tell me to pause when one of these steps seems unclear.
Okay.
The next statement says one of the numbers x is 50% more than the sum of the other two numbers. So I wrote x equals 1.5 times y plus z being the other two numbers, and 1.5 because that expresses 50% more.
Okay. Wait, why are they
I,
getting multiplied though by 1.5? Shouldn't
well,
it
I
be added? Like
added to what?
x times 1.5 plus y plus z.
Um, well, let's look at the statement right over here, right? X is, so whenever you see the is, for the most part, it just equals. X is something else, right? X is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So over here it's 50% more than the sum. Well, how would you express 50% more than A? If the phrase was just 50% more than than um than 20.
Uh, I would do 20 plus 20 over 2.
Exactly. So that's what this is. Um, 1.5 is just 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really just the 1 times y plus z, that being like the original 20, and the half
Yeah.
of y plus z uh, added to y plus z.
Mm-hmm.
So we could express that. We could express this another way. We could write y plus z plus y plus z over a half, or over 2.
Okay.
But multiplying by 1.5 is the exact same thing as well.
Okay.
So can I leave it as 1.5, or would you like it as
Yeah.
a?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can leave it.
So the next statement, I combined the so with the next statement, I combined the second statement back into the first statement. I replaced the x
Okay.
with 1.5 times y plus z. So I have 1.5 times y plus z plus y plus z equals 855.
Okay.
Then I distributed the 1.5. So 1.5 times y plus 1.5 times z plus y plus z. And then I wrote 1 next to the y and the z because in the next statement, I just combined all the y terms.
Yeah.
So now I have 2.5y plus 2.5z equals 855. And then I simplified the left side. I factored out the 2.5 from both terms,
Okay.
and I wrote 2.5 times y plus z equals 855.
Okay.
And then at some point I realized that you weren't here. So let me zoom out a little bit. Let me just zoom this out. Okay, can you still see that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna erase the stuff on the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, so the thing that I was asking while we were disconnected was whether or not this was a calculator question.
Uh, yeah, it was a calculator.
Okay, so I want you to do, I want you to divide both sides of this equation by 2.5. Tell me what that is.
Okay. Uh, 342.
Okay, so y plus z is equal to 342. So I'm going to take this fact back into the very first fact
Yeah.
and replace y plus z with 342. So x plus 342 equals 855. Now I want you to subtract 342 from both sides. Well, we can just do this here. Equals 513.
Yeah.
Double check my work.
Yeah, I got that
Yes,
too.
okay. 513, and that's the choice B.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the
speak.
next.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still being recorded, by the way.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, we can move on. Yeah.
In a circle with center O, central angle AOB has a measure of 5 pi over 4 radians. The area of the sector formed by central angle AOB is what fraction of the area of the circle? So we have a circle, center of O, central angle AOB has a measure of 5 pi over 4 radians. So a circle has 2 pi radians.
Yeah.
Equals circumference. So 5 pi over 4 is some amount of 2 pi. And whatever that amount is going to be proportional to the angle that it makes. So if 2 pi represents 360 degrees, 5 pi over 4 represents a portion of that. So 5 pi over 4 over 2 pi is going to be equal to the portion, or the measure of the angle, times 360 degrees. So I'm going to do 5 pi over 4 divided by 2 pi over 1, or 5 pi over 4 times 1 over 2 pi. The pi's cancel each other out. We have 5 over 4. Let me just make sure the math is correct. Oh, no, math's not correct. 5 times 1 is 5, 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so 5 over 8, and then we take that and we multiply that with 360 degrees. And 360 divided by 8, is this a calculator question?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, can you divide 5 by 8 and then multiply that by 360?
Yeah.
Actually, we don't even need to know that. They're asking for the area of the sector. Okay, is what fraction of the area of the
That's just
circle?
5/8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this question only requires this factor here, that the circumference itself is 2 pi radians. And same thing with the total angle, or the total degrees, is also equal to 2 pi radians. Okay, next one.
Yeah.
In the xy plane, if a point with coordinates a, b lies in the solution set of the system of inequalities above, what is the maximum possible value of b? Okay, so a is an x-coordinate, and y is, and b, sorry, a is an x-coordinate and b is y-coordinate. So y is less than this amount. So b has to be less than this amount, and it also has to be less than this amount.
Mm-hmm.
We can graph this if we were to assume that this just says y equals negative 15x plus 3000.
Yeah.
This would just be a y equals mx plus b type of line. The next one would be same thing or similar, but with a plus 0 as the b. So just as a quick sketch, one line would be going this pretty steeply. That would be the second one, since it has a y-intercept of 0. The other one would have a negative slope, but a y-intercept of 3000. So it'd be something like this. And then we're shading the stuff that's below. So it's going to be that, everything below that, that intercepts this. So it's going to be this area. And the maximum possible value of b, the y-coordinate, is going to be this point right over here.
Yeah.
So essentially the intersection of these two lines. So negative 15x plus 3, so we're going to set them equal to each other because there's one point where they're both equal to each other.
Yeah.
So negative 15x plus 3000 equals 5x. I'm going to add 15x to both sides to get 3000 equals 20x. Divide both sides by 20, or cancel out to zeros. 150 equals x. So when the x-coordinate is 150, the resulting y-coordinate is going to be the maximum value of b.
Okay.
So we take 150 and we plug it into either one of these equations. And this is going to be our check. If I plug in 150 to the second equation, which is easier, I should get the same exact value as if I were to plug in 150 to the first inequality. These are inequalities, not equations. So 5 times 150 is 750.
Yeah.
And then 150 times negative 15 is 2,250, negative 2250. And then we add 3,000. And we get 750 as well. So 750 is the answer.
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is definitely a question where the sketch helped. I wasn't really sure if the sketch was going to help. I just needed to kind of like ground myself and kind of see what this question kind of looked like.
Yeah.
Based on the keywords here, you don't necessarily need this graph, this sketch, but it definitely helped me. Okay. An online store receives customer satisfaction ratings between 0 and 100 inclusive. In the first 10 ratings the store received, the average of the ratings was 75. What is the least value the store can receive for the 11th rating and still be able to have an average of at least 85 for the first 20 ratings? Okay, so we can assume that the first 10 ratings were each 75.
Yeah.
So we can say the sum of the first 10 ratings was 750. Okay, so you did that. Plus the 11th rating, we'll call that x. And have an average, so plus the next 9 numbers. So I'm going to represent that with 9n, 9 numbers, and still have an average of at least 85 for, so this has to be greater than or equal to 85. This is the sum, but if I were to divide the sum by 20, it would have to be greater than or equal to 85.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to multiply both sides of this inequality by 20.
Okay.
So what is 85 times 20?
1700.
750 plus x plus 9n is greater than or equal to 1700. Subtract 750 from both sides.
Okay. A 950.
Equal to 950. And the 9 numbers over here, each of these numbers for both x and n have to be between 0 and 100 inclusive, and we're looking for the least value that x could be.
Yeah.
So we have to assume the highest values for n.
Yeah.
So the highest value that n could be is 100.
Yeah.
So we can say x plus 900 is greater than or equal to 950. Subtract 900 from both sides and get x equals
50.
50. X has to be
Okay.
greater than or equal to 50.
Okay.
So 50 is the answer.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, on to the next. Okay. The equation above gives the height h in feet of a ball t seconds after it is thrown straight up with an initial speed of v feet per second from a height of k feet. Which of the following gives v in terms of h, t, and k? So they want v by itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So v is on the right side. Let's see. I could subtract 16, like everything else besides that vt, and then divide everything by t.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add 16t squared or subtract by negative 16t squared from both sides. So the
Okay.
left side is going to become, so the left side, I'm going to add I'm going to add positive 16t squared. So h plus 16t squared minus k equals bt, right? And then
Yeah.
I'm going to subtract and divide both sides by t. That should be my answer. So h plus 16t squared. Well, it seems like they have the 16s by itself.
Yeah.
So I can rewrite this fraction as h minus k over t plus 16t squared over t, and then cancel out the t from there and here. Then I have h minus k plus 16. H minus k over t plus 16t, which is d.
Okay. Wait, so you can just move the 16 over like that?
Yes. Let me give you an example of something else that's similar. A plus b over x is equal to a over x plus b over x.
Yeah.
So the same idea follows over here. We
Okay.
have two terms over here, but we have three terms over here.
Okay.
And yeah, makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. On to the next. The table above shows some values of the linear function f, which of the following defines f. So we have to figure out the rule for f. And to use the word which. So in this case, I would actually advise that you try to plug it into one of the answer choices. If you didn't use that kind of phrasing, then I would try to actually figure out the rule myself. So let's try the first one, n minus 3. So this says that you plug in a value for n, you subtract 3, and you get the result for f of n.
Okay.
So 1 minus 3 is negative 2, works for that. 2 minus 3 does not work. So that's disproven right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one says you multiply the first number by 2 and then subtract 4 to get the result. So 2 times 1 is 2, minus 4 is negative 2, so that works. 2 times 2, okay. 4 minus 4 is 0, but that's not equal to 1, so
Yeah.
that's disproven as well. First one, 3 times 1 is 3, minus 5. 3 minus 5 is negative 2, so that works. Next one is 2, so 3 times 2 is 6, minus 5 is 1, that works. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 minus 5 is 4, so that works. 3 times 4 is 12, 12 minus 7 is 5. Sorry, wait, what? 12 minus 5 is 7, so that works.
Yeah.
So C is the answer.
Okay.
And you could do a check with the others. but I think it can be disproven by one of the other values over here.
Yeah.
So let's see. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 6 is 2. 2 is not equal to 1, so that's
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
On to the next.
Yeah.
One second. Okay. At Lincoln High School, approximately 7% of enrolled juniors and 5% of enrolled seniors were inducted into the National Honor Society last year. If there were 562 juniors and 602 seniors enrolled at Lincoln High School last year, which of the following is closest to the total number of juniors and seniors at Lincoln High School last year who were inducted into the National Honor Society? Okay, well, what is 7% of 562 and what is 5% of
I'm
602?
pretty sure I did it.
So, yeah, 562 times 0.07 is 39.34. So I'm going to write that 39.34. Plus of 5% of 602.
Oh, you're supposed to add all of them?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they just meant the junior.
No, juniors and seniors. So
Oh.
0.5 of 602.
Okay.
30.1. And so that's going to be 69.44.
So it should be okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Onto the next.
okay.
Yeah, you just misread it. It's fine. Okay. In planning maintenance for a city's infrastructure, a civil engineer estimates that starting from the present, the population of the city will decrease by 10% every 20 years. If the present population of the city is 50,000, which of the following expressions represents the engineer's estimate of the population of the city 2 years from now? So it's decreasing by 10% every year, right?
Yeah.
Every 20 years. So let's say after the first interval, if we start at 50,000, after the first interval of 20 years, 10% less than that is going to be expressed as 90% of 50,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking for a 0.9 in my answer. So C and D are my best candidates.
Yeah.
Now we have to determine whether it's 20 times T or T divided by 20 and what they mean. So we're basically looking at this population every 20 years. So the first interval is 20 years. The second one is going to be at 40 divided by 2. That represents the second interval.
Yeah.
We would basically be multiplying 50,000 times 0.9 for the first interval, times another 0.9 for the second interval, and times another 0.9 for the third interval.
Yeah.
The first interval represents 20 years, the second interval represents 40 years, the third interval represents 60 years.
Okay.
To get the interval, you would have to divide each of these by 20.
Yeah.
So D.
Okay.
By the way, your speaker sounds a bit muffled.
Oh. Wait, but I don't understand why it's like T over 20. So.
That represents the interval. So um, let's say 60 years, right?
Yeah.
What is 60 divided by 23?
Yeah.
So that would represent, so,
Oh,
okay, but
3
you understand
intervals.
why it's, yeah. You understand why it's 0.9 though, right?
Yeah, because it's 90%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're asking for the population, which represents the population. If they're to ask which represents the reduction, then it would be something like B,
Yeah. Okay.
the reduction itself.
Yeah.
But in here, they're asking for the actual population.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything's cleared up on this?
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next. Your speaker's muffled again. What is that? Is it next to a fan or something?
Oh yeah, it's a fan. Yeah,
Yeah. Move away from that fan. Okay. 26. In the xy plane, the line determined by the points 2, comma k and k, comma 32 passes through the origin. Which of the following could be the value of k? So I'm not really sure what to do about this one, but I'm going to start with the slope-intercept form, see if that gives me a clue. Y equals mx plus b. Well, we can figure out the slope, kind of, and also the b, because it says that it passes through the origin. So b is equal to 0.
yeah.
So b is equal to 0, that's our first clue. M, okay, that's going to be, well, we can figure out the slope by doing 32 minus k over k minus 2. That doesn't really help. Maybe it does. So let's just say that this is the slope. We can't simplify it, really. So I could write my equation as y equals 32 minus k over k minus 2 plus 0, which doesn't really need to be added, but I'll put it in here anyways. So that's the equation for the line. Which of the following could be the value of k? Well, I can plug each of these values of k into this equation and see which of them gives me oh, I should put the x over here. Well, I know that if I were to plug this in or this, the equation should be true. So I'm going to try plugging in the second coordinate because the y value over here is 32. So I can put in 32 for where the y is.
Yeah.
So I could write 32 equals 32 minus k over k minus 2 times k, because that's the x value.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the numerator becomes 32k minus k squared over k minus 2, and this needs to equal 32. Well, if I multiply both sides by k minus 2, the left side becomes 30. So the left side becomes, zoom out a little bit. The left side becomes 32 times k minus 2 equals 32 32k minus k squared. And this does not seem to be true because this simplifies to 32k, and that's 32 times negative 2, so that doesn't work. Okay, let me just check my assumptions. Slope 32 minus k over k minus 2, that seems fine. Let me try plugging in the first coordinate. Maybe there was something wrong with your work when I used the second coordinate. So I'm going to erase this. So my equation again is y equals 32 minus k over k minus 2 plus 0. I'm going to plug in 2k. So x is 2. Oh, there's an x over here. And k is my y value. So k equals 32 minus k over k minus 2 times 2 plus 0. It's k. I can multiply the numerator by 2 and write this as one fraction. K equals 64 minus 2k over k minus 2. And then I can multiply both sides by k minus 2. So the left side becomes k squared minus 2k equals 64 minus 2k. I can add 2k to both sides. And now I have k squared equals 64. K equals 8. So maybe that's the answer. K is equal to 8. So let's plug in 8 for each of these values, for each of these coordinates. So I have 2 comma 8, and I have 8 comma 32. And I can find the slope from these two coordinates, 32 minus 8 over 8 minus 2. So this will equal 24 over 6, which equals 4. So the slope is 4. So m is equal to 4. Y-intercept is equal to 0. So now my equation is y equals 4x, because the slope is 4, plus 0. And assuming that these two are the correct coordinates, I can try to plug these in. So if I plug in 2 for x, I get 8. If I plug in 8 for x, I get 32. So the work seems to be correct, and C is going to be my final answer.
Okay. I'm still like a little confused about it. Like the steps.
Okay, so I'm going to outline my overall steps, but I want you to watch this part of the video again.
Okay.
And if you still have a question about it, we'll go over it again in depth next time.
Okay.
So the first thing I did was, I didn't know where to start with this question. So I wrote the slope intercept formula, y equals mx plus b.
Yeah.
And then try to plug in as much of that equation out to get an actual equation for a line. Now, they tell us that the line passes through the origin. So that tells us that the y-intercept is 0, or that b is equal to 0. And the next thing I need to figure out is the slope. So the slope I represented as an equation with those two coordinates that they give us, 2 comma k and k comma 32. So I did the difference of the y values over the difference of the x values, and I got m equals this thing over here, m equals 32 minus k over k minus 2. And then I put all of that information, the values for m and b, back into the slope intercept form. So I wrote y equals 32 minus k over k minus 32 times x plus 0.
Wait, why is it behind? Oh yeah, okay, never mind.
And then I first tried plugging in the second coordinate, k comma 32, and I wasn't getting anywhere with that. So I figured maybe there was something wrong with my work. So I restarted it, and instead of using the same exact coordinate, I plugged in the first coordinate. Maybe picking the second coordinate was a mistake. Although looking back, I think I probably just had a problem with the work itself. The question should still be solvable using the second coordinate. So I plugged in 2 and the k for my x and y. So I plugged in 2 for the x and k for the y on the left, which is this part over here. I'm going to highlight it.
Wait, why is it times 2? Isn't it plus 2?
No, because that's the x, right? This part over here.
Yeah. Wait.
So
Tuesday. Okay, okay. Oh yeah.
Okay, so this was the second step. I just plugged in not the second step, but the next step. I just plugged in the 2 and the k. So the k took the place of the y, and 2 took the place of the x. And then I simplified it, and I got this.
Mm-hmm.
I multiplied the numerator by 2. Then I multiplied both sides by k minus 2, so that I can get a linear equation, or a one-line equation, actually. It's actually sort of a quadratic. So the left side became k times k, which is k squared, and k times negative 2, which is minus 2k. Right side became 64 minus 2k. Then I added 2k to both sides. And then I got k squared equals 64. And so k equals 8.
Okay.
And then I did a check with by plugging in 8 for the 2k over here, and the k32 over here. And I got a new slope, which said that 24 over 6 is equal to 4. And then I plugged it in to the slope-intercept form. My b is still 0, but my slope is now 4.
Yeah.
And then I plugged in the 2 coordinates to see if they would work, and they did work. So pretty confident that that is the answer.
Okay.
On to the next.
Yeah.
In the equation above, b and c are constants. If b is c minus 1/2, which of the following is true? Okay, so we have two equations, and we have another equation in the description, which says b is c minus 1/2. Okay, so I can also solve for c and write c. I can add 1/2 to both sides, and I can write c is equal to b plus 1/2. So we have two pieces of new information. And then it says which of the following is true. And taking a peek at the choices, everything is in terms of x. So that leads me to believe that we're going to use the first equation. Maybe we'll use both, but I'm looking at the first equation because that's the only one that has x in it.
Yeah.
So it says 3x plus b equals 5x minus 7. Okay, what if from the very get-go I subtract 3x from both sides? Left side becomes b. Equals 2x minus 7. I'm then going to replace this b with this equation over here, c minus 1/2. So c minus 1/2 equals 2x minus 7. So now
Yeah.
I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So c plus 6.5. If I'm adding 7 to both sides, yeah, this is going to be 6.5 equals 2x. And then I divide both sides by 2 to get c over 2 plus 6.5 over 2 equals x. I'm looking at the choices, none of this matches up. I have the x by itself, but everything else is y minus something or y plus something. So this over here needs to be changed into something about y. Well, this is probably where the second equation comes in, because the second equation has both the variable c and the variable y. So the second equation expresses a relationship between c and y. We just have to simplify the equation to get to a bit more directly. So far, all I really know is that the work that I've done so far is most likely correct, assuming that I follow all of the rules with order of operations.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it as this for now, and then go back to the second equation that they give us. I'm going to subtract 3 by y from both sides, and I'm going to get c equals 2y minus 7. Okay, now I'm going to take this fact and I'm going to plug it in to my equation over here.
Okay.
Also here, give me 1 second, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay. Can you hear a bunch of noise in the background?
Like just a little bit, yeah.
Is it too much?
No,
Or okay, try to edit it out of the video. Okay, but if it gets too loud, just let me know and I'll move to another room. No problem. Okay. So c is equal to 2y minus 7. So I'm going to take that fact and I'm going to plug it in to this equation over here. And then I'll simplify afterwards, see what this all means.
yeah.
So c is 2y minus 7. So I'm going to write 2y. I'm going to do this on the right side. So 2y minus 7 over 2 plus 6.5 over 2 equals x. Okay, and then since this is all over 2 on the left side, I can combine these two fractions, and I can write 2y minus 7 plus 6.5 over 2 equals x. I can simplify the numerator, so negative 7 plus 6.5 is just going to be minus 0.5, or minus a half. So I have 2y minus 1/2 over 2 equals x. And then I can simplify the stuff on the left. I can write y. 2y divided by 2 is just y. And
Yeah.
then a half divided by 2 is 1/4 equals x. And that's going to be 8. X is y minus a quarter. So definitely a question that you should watch over again, because this is a question where I did not know like where to start. Well, I kind of knew where to start, but I didn't know like how to actually get to my answer. There was no real strategy. The only strategical thing I did was just list out all the facts and then try to combine them together and then figure out which equation I needed at a particular time.
Yeah.
When I was at this step, the last step over here, I had c plus, well, really this step here, I had c and x, but I needed that c to become something about y. So I needed an equation that connected y and c together. And that was the second equation that they give us, which I simplified so that I can get the relationship between c and y. After I got the relationship for c and y, I was able to replace the c with the corresponding value in terms of y. After I got c in terms of y, I replaced the c with 2y minus 7, and then it continued from there into my answer. So this question is just about recognizing which fact to use at which time.
Yeah.
And combining facts together, simplifying facts. Definitely a great exercise that you should definitely redo after watching the video again. I don't know if you need to watch the video again, but yeah, it's there if you need it. On to the next.
Yeah.
Okay. The incomplete table above summarizes the number of left-handed students and right-handed students by gender for the 8th grade students at Kaisel Middle School. There are 5 times as many right-handed female students as there are left-handed female students. Is this expressed in the thing? Oh, the incomplete table, so you filled it up. Okay. None of this information was given, right?
No.
Okay. There are 5 times as many right-handed female students as there are left-handed students. this were X, so let's say there were X students over here and 5X over here. And there are 9 times as many right-handed male students as there are left-handed male students. So I can write 9Y and Y over here. If there's a total of 18 left-handed students and 122 right-handed students in the school, which of the following is closest to the probability that a right-handed student selected at random is female? Okay. Which of the following is closest to the probability that a right-handed student selected at random is female? So out of this, these are the right-handed students, 5X of them. So we know that the total 5X plus 9Y is 122. And where the probability that we're looking for is 5X. 5X are right-handed and female. So 5X out of 122, or 5X out of 5X plus 9Y. Okay, what else can we gather from this? We can say that X plus Y is equal to 18. So I'm just listing our facts. X plus Y is equal to 15. If I added up all of them together, I would get X plus 5X is 6X, plus Y plus 9Y is 10Y, equals 18 plus 122, so 140. That's 10Y. Okay. What else? Well, I have this fact over here. I have this fact over here. But that just gets me to the first fact. Let me just see if I missed anything. 12, 18 left-hand students. I have a question. Is there a reason why you used 10 and 50? Because they do work. I'm not sure why.
I don't know. I just thought of it, I guess.
Well, you know what? Let's use that. Let's use that information because all of those numbers do work. 10 and 50, they work. If 10, that's 10, then this must be Y, and this must be 8, and then this must be 72. 50 plus 72 is 122, and 10 plus 8 is 18. So then we just do 50 out of all the right-handed students, 122. And then 50 out of 122. Is that equal to those answers that you selected?
Let me check.
It should be a bit less than half. should be something
Yeah,
like
it's a
A.
0.4. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's A,
Is it?
actually. It's A.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Wait,
not
how
sure
is it 50?
there's.
Oh, wait,
Hmm?
no, it's 50. Oh, okay. It was,
I'm not sure there's a more mathematical approach to this instead of just plugging in 10 and 50.
okay.
Um, but if I think of a better one, I'll get back to you on it. Get
Okay.
back to you on this. I'll look at this again anyways.
Okay.
Okay, on to the next. Okay, which of the following is equal to a to the 2/3 power for all values of a? Okay, so you can think of this as a taken to the second power and then reduced to the third root, d. Yeah, it's d. Um, it's like 5 to the 4/2 power. You can take 5 to the 4th power and then take the square root of that, or take it down to the second power. Or you could also think of this as 5 to the second power. So here's what I mean. This becomes 5 to the 4th power, and then taken down to the second power, right? And I'm saying that all three of these things are equal to each other. So 5 to the 4th is just 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. If you take the square root or second root, it'll just be 5 times 5, or 5 squared.
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay. Yeah, this is really just about memorizing a
Yeah.
fact about how to interpret the numerator and denominator. Okay, on to the next. What are the solutions to 3x squared plus 12x plus 6 equals 0? Quadratic equation. Negative b, okay, plus or minus the square root of b squared. Okay, that's correct. Minus 4 times 3 times 6. The work seems correct right there. Bottom becomes 6. Numerator, okay, 4 times 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 times 4 is 72. Okay, and then negative 12 plus or minus the square root of 72. All of this divided by 6. So this part simplifies to, so x equals negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2, plus or minus square root of 72 divided by 6. Square root of 72. What is that equal to? So 72 is equal to 36 times 2. So the square root of 72 is 6 root 2.
Okay.
And then 6 root 2 divided by 6, well, this cancels out. So it's just root 2. So x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus root 2. A.
Okay. So you just took out like the 72
Yeah,
Friday.
this becomes 6 root 2.
Okay.
That's where you made the mistake.
Okay.
Okay, on to the next. How many do we have? 3, 4, 5, 6. Already like 16 minutes past. We'll definitely need some more time for this, for all the questions.
Okay.
Do you want to ask your mom if you guys want to do a 2-hour session instead?
Oh, I actually have to go to bed like soon because I have to wake up like
Okay,
at
okay.
4 tomorrow.
Yeah. So let's do like 1 or 2 more questions.
Okay.
Okay. The equation 24x squared plus 25x minus 47. Okay, wait, this actually seems like a long question. Maybe we'll save this one for later. X does not equal 2 over a, where a is constant. Let me just say maybe this is simpler. No, it's not. This is definitely probably more complicated than it seems. Okay, we'll come back to this one later, just because it may take up too much time. Let me see if there's some shorter ones. This one looks maybe a bit simpler. If 7 over 9x minus 4 over 9x equals 1/4 plus 5/12, what is the value of x? Okay, so you simplified this, so you got 3/9 x equals 3 8/12, 4, which is what? 8 over 12. Okay, wait, I'm not sure what happened with the work, but let's see. 7 over 9x minus 4 over 9x is going to be 3 over 9x.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1/3 x. Okay, that part is correct. So 1/3 x equals, on the right side, 1/4 plus 5/12. So 1/4 can be converted to 3/12. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 over 12 is 2/3.
Oh, I did 4/12 by accident. Okay.
Okay. Multiply both sides by 3. Right side you get x. I'm sorry, left side you get x. Right side you get 2.
Yeah.
X equals 2. Yeah. Okay, on to the next.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the last one. Maybe this one's a bit simpler than it looks, although maybe not. Two isosceles triangles are shown above. If 180 minus z is equal to 2y and y equals 75, what is the value? Okay, so we don't even know if the things are equal. Okay, yeah, so y and z are not equal to each other.
Oh wait, so can't we plug 75 for y and solve for z, right?
Oh yeah. Well, we can solve for z. Yeah, okay. That's a good approach. So 180 minus z equals 2 times y equals 150.
Yeah.
Subtract 150 from both sides, we get 30 minus z equals 0. Add z to both sides, and we get 30 is equal to z.
Okay.
Okay, so 30, so that's 30 over here.
Oh, and then we can like find the other two angles, right?
Yeah, so 150 minus, sorry, 180 minus 30 is 150. So each of these are 75.
And then 180 minus 75, right?
Yeah, so 105.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for today. We have like 5 more questions, plus the one that I said I would get back to you on
Okay.
from earlier today. Here, I'm going to end the video in a bit, but I'll cut off everything that we talked about after this point, after
Okay.
this little conversation. So you watched the 2 videos that I posted on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about them?
They were helpful. Like the first one I have to watch it like a couple more times. But like the
That's
second
fine.
one I
That's what it's
understand.
for.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second.
While you were watching them, were you like trying to solve the questions on a separate piece of paper or something, or just following along?
I was just following along.
Okay. Probably because you don't have much time before a
Yeah.
session. But if you were to like watch them again, is that how you would? Is that how you see yourself watching them again? Just trying to solve
Like
them with a piece of paper, right? Pencil and paper.
like this like a second time through probably, or like third time
Okay.
through.
What did you think of the sound quality?
The sound quality was it was good, but like the pictures weren't as good. Like
The
they were a little
pictures.
blurry. Like the
Oh,
questions.
okay, okay. Okay, I'll see if I can make those pictures better, higher quality.
Okay.
They might just need to be enlarged.
Okay.
Uh, they're also just the pictures that I get from you. So maybe when I'm enlarging them, it's reducing the quality. I'll see. Maybe there's something that I can do
Okay.
help about that. Let's see. What else do I need to ask you? Well, is there anything else that could have been done to make the videos better?
Uh, not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Try to keep that in mind while you're watching the videos again. Be as
Okay.
critical as possible. It could be anything. It could be the fact that I use the word too much. If that's actually something that's noticeable,
Yeah.
let me know.
Okay.
Um, these aren't really scripted, so yeah. Let's see, what else? Um, actually, that's about it. I'm gonna post the video, the session that we did today on YouTube.
Okay.
But I'm gonna edit it a bit first to get rid of the section where I didn't really know how to solve that question, which I'm gonna
Okay.
get back to you on. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
just add it to the video itself. Um, oh, okay, one other thing. Do you think it would be helpful for me to create like a table of contents for the video for where the different questions are?
Uh, like categories.
Oh, categories, okay. Like dividing this video into different like splitting up this video itself into multiple categories or
Yeah.
multiple videos.
Maybe actually you don't need to do a table of contents. I don't really pay attention to that really.
Okay. Um, so would it be fine as just one long video?
Yeah.
Or would you like, okay. Um, okay, I can do one long video. And we'll try separate videos next time or another time. We'll see how this one goes. Okay, that's about it. Is your mom around?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, can I speak to her or ask
Yeah.
her? Okay.
Yeah. Mom. Mom. Simon.
Hey, Simon.
Hey Jenny, how's it going?
It's all right. How's it
How's
going?
the new car?
Car's doing great. Yeah, it works nicely, and we went around. It was nice.
Awesome. Session went fine. There's still about like 5 or 6 questions that we didn't get to.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see how many questions were there today. 1, 2, 3, 6.
Hello?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just counting the number of questions. So we went over 15 questions, and there's 7 questions that we have to go over. Or it might be 16 and 5, 16 and 7.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we needed a bit more time. We also didn't get to go over any of the reading stuff. So based on the practice test, his score went down a little bit, which I kind of expected since we haven't been going over reading in a while, and he
Uh-huh.
hasn't taken a full-length test in a while as well. So the next session, we're probably going to do reading, and we'll see where you can improve with the writing. I need him to send me a screenshot of the bubbling sheet, just so I know where the
Okay,
mistakes were.
you know what? I need to do this on the telephone with you. Can we call? Because I can't hear you. This is on the iPad. I can't. It's
Oh, yeah.
all right, we're gonna
Do you want to call me back in like a couple minutes?
I can call you right now with my phone here. I'm just gonna have them hang up.
Okay, I'm
Okay?
just going to step outside.
I can't.